The sun beat down on Silver Creek, a small western town drowning in dust and summer heat. People filled the main street, their voices a low hum of gossip and trade. The air was thick with the smell of leather, horses, and food cooking over open fires. It was just another ordinary day until you saw her. In the center of the town square, a woman knelt in chains. She was Apache. Her dark hair was woven with feathers, her beaded leather outfit a proud declaration of her heritage. Her name was Ayana. She'd been captured just days ago, accused of stealing cattle by a local rancher. It was a lie, but in a town like Silver Creek, the truth was a luxury only the wealthy could afford. Her voice meant nothing. Now, she was a spectacle, shackled and displayed like a prize, her fate hanging on the whim of the highest bidder. But as she knelt there, her head was held high. There was no fear in her eyes, only the unyielding strength of a warrior hardened by a life of struggle. The chains on her wrists couldn't touch her spirit. Her gaze swept across the crowd, steady and unbowed. She was not a woman to be pitied. She was a woman to be respected. Through the bustling market came Jacob Keller, flanked by his two young daughters. As one of Silver Creek's wealthiest ranchers, Jacob was a man who commanded respect through sheer presence. He was tall, sharp-eyed, and moved with an air of authority. His land stretched for miles, his cattle numbered in the thousands, and his reputation was built on ruthless efficiency. He was a man who always got what he wanted, and today he had come for a prize. His daughters, Lily and Grace, followed closely. Lily, the older of the two, wore a neat pale blue dress, her blonde hair perfectly braided. Grace, quieter and more thoughtful, wore a soft floral dress that swayed in the hot breeze. They were children of comfort and privilege, but they had never seen anything like the scene before them. Jacob's eyes found Ayana. To him, she was just another commodity, a captive to be acquired. "Stay close," he muttered to his girls. But Lily's eyes were locked on the woman in chains. She tugged on her father's sleeve. "Papa, who is she?" Jacob glanced down, his stern expression softening just for a moment. "She's a prisoner," he answered calmly. "Someone who broke the law?" Lily frowned, her brow furrowed with a child's simple logic. "Then why is she in chains?" "That's how things work here," Jacob said, the words tasting like ash in his mouth. "People like her, they're seen as less than us." Grace, the younger daughter, clutched his coat, her wide, innocent eyes fixed on Ayana. "Papa!" "Can we talk to her?" Jacob hesitated, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. "No, Grace, she's not someone we talk to. But she might be lonely," Grace whispered, her voice barely audible. "Maybe she needs a friend." Before Jacob could form a response, Lily did something that would change everything. She stepped forward, pointing directly at Ayana. "I want her, Papa," she declared, her voice clear and ringing with a child's conviction. "I want her to be our mother." Jacob froze. The words hit him with the force of a physical blow. He had taught his daughters about wealth, about power, about ownership, but not this. This was something entirely different. "Her?" he repeated, his voice a low whisper. "You want her?" "Yes," Lily said, her chin held high, just like the woman she was looking at. "She could be our mother." Grace nodded in agreement. "She could protect us." Jacob looked from his daughters' determined faces to the woman kneeling in the dust. They didn't see chains. They didn't see a prisoner or a possession. They saw a person, someone who could belong. And for the first time in years, a profound doubt settled in Jacob's heart. He met Ayana's gaze across the square. In that single, shared look, something shifted in the universe. These children didn't see her with pity or a desire to control. They saw her as human, as someone worthy of love. The town whispered and gossiped when he made his decision. Jacob Keller, the man who controlled land, cattle, and the fates of men, had done the unthinkable. He didn't buy Ayana as property. He bought her as family. In the days that followed, the Keller ranch was transformed. The large, quiet house began to fill with a warmth it hadn't known in years. Lily and Grace welcomed Ayana with the open, unconditional love only children can offer. They clung to her, showering her with the affection they had longed to give a mother. Ayana spoke little, but her presence was a powerful force. She moved with a quiet dignity, teaching the girls things that couldn't be bought or owned. She taught them to respect the land that gave them life, to understand the animals they shared it with, and to find a strength that had nothing to do with force or power. Jacob watched from a distance, amazed. He saw his daughters blossom under her care. He saw his ranch, once just a symbol of his wealth, become a home. He realized Ayana was not someone to be controlled or possessed. She was a force of nature, proud, strong, and deeply capable. And slowly, Jacob began to see her not as something he owned, but as someone to be respected, admired, and perhaps even loved. As the weeks turned into months, the bonds between them deepened. The ranch felt truly alive, echoing with laughter and learning. And Ayana, the woman who had knelt in chains, had found something she thought was lost forever, a place to belong. This wasn't the end of their story, but the beginning of a new family, one built not on wealth or power, but on the simple, radical foundations of understanding, courage, and love. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more.